The night before school trips used to be like 3 days combined. I swear you would sleep for 2 hours but then wake up like thinking that the bus left you. And unlike other days where my mom would enter my room like, before the school trip, she would tell us that if you overslept, that's a wrap. You missed the trip. She was only kidding though. Another thing was going to the supermarket and getting snacks. This was a chance to catch up on all the excess sugar I was missing. The morning in which we were going and the teacher was taking the register was the most beautiful morning in school. Everybody had a smile, me and the boys creating our own music playlist, planning on what to do during the trip, talking about what snacks we had carried, just to see if we are all going to benefit. And through primary school since 6th grade, there was no single trip that lacked Monster Energy drink. The school trips that hit different and made you smile were the long ones. I'm talking about 3 days long and beyond. The most memorable trip I took was a band trip to Mombasa. I was in the 6th grade, but our band had members from the 4th grade up to the 7th. My sister actually came along. I am 3 years older than her, but I am 2 years ahead of her in school. I mean, she started school earlier and not otherwise. I brought this up because for the 4th graders to take this trip, they had to do trials using their instruments. My sister played that flute as if this was America's Got Talent. So after everything was ready, all we had to do was pretend to be helpful around the house so as to be granted permission and for the trip to be paid for. This was going to be the longest school trip most of us had taken. I mean, from Nairobi to Mombasa is around 300 miles, and this meant that you had to be careful choosing the person sitting next to you. I mean, you don't want to be asked all the way there or sit next to someone who smells like dead fish inside a dead shark's mouth.
Help me! Help me!
Good thing though, I sat next to Maureen. We were not only from the same class but also on Friday during sports and other co-curriculars, she had scheduled some art classes from your boy. Yet there was an art class right there and a qualified art teacher in school. That says it all. Your boy is gorgeous. So the trip began, and as expected, Cohen stood up and started walking towards the bus sound system. This teacher who was chaperoning us started going berserk, just yelling, "Where are you going? Sit down. The bus is already moving. What if the cops were to see you? Sit down." At least I sat down when she punched me on the stomach because I'm a gentleman. "Why don't you take the brown one? Why don't you take the well? I took it." Mark then plugs in his speaker, and this guy had the best playlist saved in his phone because good luck using the bus's Wi-Fi. After all that weeping and nene, people were hungry and had to eat. We exchanged snacks, sodas, and of course, monsters. Perhaps too much, but after a long and tiresome journey, we arrived. We then jumped off and did this, and then this. The teacher who was in charge of this whole operation talked to this 7-Eleven lady as we emptied our soda bottles and did whatever we were doing waiting for the next move. Our band instructor started talking to us, encouraging us to win this competition. After breathing fresh air, Chiro dust-free air and stretching, we hopped back on the bus and then drove around this neighborhood until we arrived at the hotel where we were going to stay for at least 3 days. The officials talked to whoever was listening until the chaperone threatened to personally assign us our rooms himself if we didn't pay attention. So I had to watch a dude's lips move up and down. Look, I try, okay? I try to listen, but sometimes I'm in too deep. We then get released and go to our rooms to unpack. I don't know if parents usually hold secret meetings or have some connection with each other, but somehow everybody was getting phone calls from their parents almost at the same time. After taking a shower and getting ready for bed, I decided to call the gang and plugged in the Xbox, but one of the band instructors came in and switched it off in the middle of this. Talking about we were on a road trip for 9 hours. You need sleep. The next day we were going to visit the school at which the competition was going to take place and then visit the beach and some prehistoric sites for team building. The competition was going to take place on the 2nd and 3rd day, but the 3rd day was mostly solos. On the 1st day we went to the beach and there was this crab that wouldn't leave me alone. After that, we went on to visit Old Town, a historical site in Kenya. After touring around, we were back at the hotel and we played and goofed around. I had to play some video games, okay? Or else all that strength that went into squeezing the console would be for nothing. Anyway, the 2nd day came and we pulled up at the competition, ready to school these folks. We were then directed to this field inside the school where we got ready before walking to the stage. On day 3, some schools did their performances, but it was mostly solos. The results were shocking. Apparently for the band performance, we got runners up. Talking about our performance was a little too advanced for this level, but Alan and Brian got the first place for the solo, so Cheers to them. While parking to go back home, I was salty though because I couldn't find my headphones. I thought somebody had stolen them or I had misplaced them in the bus. But let's admit one thing, whenever you lose something, it's never your fault, okay? It always has to be somebody else's fault. When we got back home and unpacked, my sister gave them back to me. It turns out she opened my bag and took them, and for 3 days somewhere in my head, I felt empty without them.